All right, hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. It is good to see you today. We are talking about the youth camp. We've got a couple great people. If you would introduce yourselves, go ahead from this side to this side.
Sure. My name is Don Jacobson. I am the student pastor here at Orlando Baptist Church.
My name is Jordan Perdue. I'm the youth leader of the middle school boys.
And I am Brian Boudram, the youth leader of the high school boys.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to be talking about everything that happened at youth camp. But before we get into what happened at the actual youth camp, what was kind of like the state of your heart beforehand? What were you praying through? What were you asking the Lord about before camp actually happened?
I was excited this was my second time going to camp. So, I was just excited to be with the kids, just having fun, really. That was the biggest expectation for me.
Yeah. Were there any specific relationships, maybe not by name, but like, was there anybody specifically you were looking forward to spending time with and you saw the Lord moving beforehand?
Yes, absolutely. There was. I had a couple of parents that came up and just gave permission to really dive deeper with the, while we're there. And we definitely saw that. We saw the move and, those, one, child, just night and day, so it was great. It was great.
That's awesome. What about you guys?
Yeah, I went and excited. I got the pleasure of going 2 years ago, so I had an idea of the structure. I went to camp maybe once or twice when I was a kid too, so I had an idea of what it would be like. But I was actually really excited to spend time with all the boys. A lot of them were unexpected. They were people I spent time with a lot this year, so I was really nice to get to spend time with all of them, and I was just excited for that. That's all I could.
That's good. Yeah. So expectation-wise, like I had been praying, since last camp that that we would be able to invite and bring like new people to camp, like kids who don't normally go to camp, unchurched kids, and I mean God so answered that prayer. Like we had, I think it was 13 or 14 like first timers that went to camp, and that was just like such an answer to prayer. That set the expectation that like God was going to do something great at this camp, and I was just like the way that he moved and the way that the Spirit kind of just drew our students in, like that expectation, like just blew me out of the water, like expectation wise. Like I was not. I mean, I want to say I was ready for that, but I wasn't ready for that. Like it was so good and so powerful. It's that entire week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you guys connect? Because we got like the kids who do go to church here. How do you guys connect with kids that are not part of the community here?
Yeah. So it's intentionality. Like that's the word that comes to mind. Like we talk about it. Like we had a meeting the Sunday before we left. And we kind of went through all the names and just kind of let everyone know, like, hey, we've got a lot of first timers here. And one of the things that I do as the leader is like just through simple things like our housing arrangements. I try to mix in veteran campers with first timers. So there's kind of that forced relationship that happens there. I met with some of our upper school guys before camp started and was like, hey, listen, you guys are leaders now. And you guys need to step up and you guys need to, integrate like the new people. Don't go off in your own little groups. Make sure you're including new people. And they of course did because they're awesome.
I think the great thing too is at camp by as soon as you get there, the kids have best friends already with all the other churches and everyone is just having so much fun that the guards are all down and everyone's just having a great time. So it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. How do you guys prepare the students, like you have the whole year with them? What's kind of like the kind of talk amongst the students before camp comes up? Are they stoked for the spiritual side, for the game side, for the...
I would say that they are stoked for the experience of camp.
Sure.
Right? Like the idea that they get to get away for a week. They get to kind of unplug from everything, to disconnect from their own normal schedule, because we've got a lot of kids that are just like jam-packed, like all year long. And camp being at the beginning of summer just kind of sets the tone for the entire summer, the time of a little bit of rest even. Like so that's one way that we prepare, and I like leading up to like our last weeks of Alive. We talk a lot about like what's going to happen at camp. I spent probably more time this year than any other, just like inviting kids and pestering kids and calling parents and emailing them and saying, hey, come to camp. You want to come to camp.
Yep.
I can guarantee a good experience, just with the fun stuff that we do, because so we do it through Student Life Camp. They're amazing. They do a great job. They don't sponsor this, but if they'd like to sponsor it, let me know. No, but like they do a great job just setting everything up. They are very intentional. There's nothing that happens at camp that is an accident or isn't well thought out and well planned. And so we kind of take that lead, and with everything that we do with just all throughout camp. Yeah.
Leading up to camp, a lot of the kids were really excited. Some of them asked me multiple times, are you going to camp? Are you coming to camp? Because I think they're all seeking familiarity. They're all seeking something that they'll recognize when they're there, so they're not lost, because if you just let them go off, it's too much freedom and they're going to make mistakes. But that is a great thing about camp, is that they get away from home, they get away from school, they get away from church, even though it really is kind of church. Yeah. Because there's so many mediums, they have you see a different side of the students there. And you got to basically see them, I think what Brian said, be vulnerable, like open up. And that was really cool.
Yeah.
For sure.
I remember being in 9th grade going to camp for the first time. And I wasn't even really a believer, but it was such a cool experience going when we were kids. 10th Avenue North was leading worship there. Like, it was awesome. So I just the amount of good conversations you have. Like, there are lifelong memories that happen at the camp. So can you guys walk me through some of the stories that happened, some of the ways you saw God transform, the students or your own heart during camp?
Yeah, I know personally, I enjoy the preaching, and this year was all about revival, and I think that personally, I feel like, we're in need of that, right? And, it just hit hard. The takeaway was revival takes a God that's able and a people that's willing. And that just resonated so much in myself, I think in everyone, in the kids as well. Right. So that played a big part of me. My son, the best part about, volunteering is with the children, but also I get to experience it with my own son as well. So it's like, Aiden and I are there, and we're enjoying all of this, and we're just, it's just watching him. Just the other day he said, Dad, can we start, having more time reading together? Mm-hmm. And this is something that I've been praying for, and this is without me. I try to, I lead in the home, and they see me with my Bible time, they know, but I don't make it a requirement where it's forced. So the fact that he's coming to me, and even some of his posts, sharing, oh wow, look at this, he took a picture of the sky, look at this beautiful creation, this day that God made, and I'm just like, this is from camp, this is from the Spirit moving in his heart as it moved in mine. Yeah.
And bragging on Aiden a little bit, he had a baseball tournament, the first part of camp. And Brian just kind of let him make that decision. Hey, listen, if you go to this tournament, you're going to miss part of camp, or you can go to camp. And Aiden he stepped up. He was like, I'm going to camp this year. I gotta do what's right. And that was for me as a leader, I'm inside I'm doing cartwheels. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. But in front of the teenage boy, I can't be yeah, just I pulled him aside. I was like, man, I'm proud of you, man. That's a great decision. So that's just one of the stories, though. Yeah.
Oh, and I got countless kids. Well, Aiden specifically is like, oh man, this camp just boosted my my confidence, and it was just it was really great watch. And it wasn't just the two of us just side by side. It was him going off doing his own thing with the other kids, and you saw relationships get strengthened. So it was great.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. What other stories of transformation?
I know some of the students that went with me pretty well, and a lot of them have really difficult home lives, things that cause them a lot of angst and hurt, and I got to see a lot of these prayers turn to tears as these kids surrender their anger, their sadness, their worries, and those tears turn to joy when they hear the message of God. And it's something Pastor Don has been preaching all year, but sometimes just hearing it from someone else
It is one of the most frustrating, but also awesome things.
I'm good with it. Hey, listen, I've come to grips with the fact that I'm not always going to be heard, but they are. We're planting the seeds, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the same goes for all the leaders, but we see these kids really have a call to action and actually act upon what God is doing in their life.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off of that, we went skating, and there's one child in particular that I was talking to Alexia about, and throughout the year she was just always very just kind of downcast, and she surrendered, and recommitted her life to Christ, and just yesterday when we were skating, like
Switch.
her face, there's this glow to her that I'm like, it's amazing.
That's
It's
awesome.
I get goosebumps thinking about it, and I think each one of you know who I'm talking about, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
She went from like, I don't want to do anything. I'm gonna sit in the back of the room with my arms crossed, and I got to be here, and I don't want to be here, to just shining pure joy.
Yeah.
Like it was so good.
Yeah.
I would say one of my thoughts, or one of my prayers during camp, was I was praying for one person in particular. Like, she's had a rough year, and I kind of saw like a change from last year to this year, like in not, I want to say in personality, but just in like attitude and reception to like messages, and willingness to want to be a part of like Alive students. And so I just been praying, like I knew she was going to go to camp. I knew her parents were going to make her go to camp, and just, it's funny. She actually did a little bit of the testimony on Sunday, and she's like, the first day he would say this point, and I would agree with this point, and I would write it down, but I would write it down angry. Like, I was just so mad that God was saying this to me right now, and I didn't want to hear it. And she went through all the points and just was so angry, just writing this down. Not angry at God, but just angry that God is revealing like these, like just like, turning all these rocks over in her life, like all in one message. And, by the end of like, Thursday night's kind of like our big like testimony night, and just kind of like, all of our testimony times were framed around a celebration, right? Because we were doing, like, there were decisions that were being made, there were things that were going on. I wanted to make sure our students were celebrating this stuff. And she was just celebrating that God had moved in her life, that she had surrendered this bitterness, this hurt that she had, and she understood, like, I know not everything's going to be perfect right now, but I've surrendered it to God. So and this was said 1,000 times during camp, like this weight was lifted off of them. And I really do think that was authentic. Like, I don't think this was just, camp high or whatever you want to call it. Like, I think there was a lot of, authentic and real and vulnerable changes and decisions that were made during camp. And this camp will go, like, this is locked in my brain as one of, like, just such a great camp. Like, just so much. God did so many great things.
How many salvations?
So we took 44 students, 6 adults and me. I don't know if I can
You're
serve
not
myself.
an adult.
Yeah, I don't know why I said it like that.
Extended adolescence, guys. Extended adolescence.
And out of those, I think it was 13 or 14 were first timers, never been to camp before. We had on Tuesday night during the gospel response, there were 10 students that responded to the gospel message. Wednesday and Thursday night, there was additional response times. And I mean, I can't think of a student that didn't go up during one of those 2 nights. So every student experienced a movement of God in their life during camp. And that's amazing.
Yeah,
and
what else could you ask for?
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, that's what I told him. I was like, Tuesday, like, I was like, hey, decisions were made for, like, we could go home right now, and it's been a successful camp.
We're
Yeah,
good.
like, I don't want, it was just so good. It was just such a great experience. Like, I can't. Yeah. So like 10 decisions that were made, and then countless surrenders and recommits and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So what does follow up look like now? These students made decisions. What do you guys do to take action on that?
So right now we are working. I've already started sending out texts and emails. I've got a little bit of a weird schedule this week. this time on Thursday, I'll be at the airport heading to Kenya, or getting ready to go to Kenya. So follow up right now is kind of fast and furious. We're sending out texts. We're trying to follow up with discipleship for those that made decisions. Obviously I need to follow up with them and see where they are in that walk. I would love to get them baptized. If not at the end of this month, definitely at the end of July. But we've got, just discipleship happening. Like, we're setting up all of our leaders with kids, and setting up times for us to just kind of meet with them, walk through the decisions that they made, any questions that they might have, and then just it's a lot of follow up right now. We don't. I'm a product of the '90s, right? So. In some church, this isn't as prevalent as it was then, but like when I got saved, it was at a different church than I normally go. I followed my girlfriend at the time to that church, got saved, and literally there was no follow up. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just like, okay, you're a Christian, great.
Enjoy your life.
Yeah. Good luck. And so, luckily I was a part of a Christian school at the time, and I was able to have that follow up, but it wasn't through the church. So for me, on a personal level, that's a big deal to me. Like, following up with kids who make decisions, there needs to be some skin in the game for them. So sometimes I'll be like, hey, listen, here's what needs to happen. I need you to respond to that so we can kind of follow up on that. But yeah, there's definitely, I'm a big proponent of following up on decisions and seeing where they're at. So,
and the beauty of our youth group, though, is that we're doing life together.
Yeah.
So camp is an extension of what we do throughout the year.
Yeah.
So we're constantly talking with the kids and just having relationships. I say this all the time, that we're with them at 15, 16, 17. Hopefully we'll be with them at 40. And 40, and seeing this just growing with them in the church. So it's a nice thing.
That's great, man. That's great. So how can parents get involved? Because you guys, after the summer, you'll start back up regular meetings. How can parents get their kid involved?
Yeah. So, they can get involved over the summer. We've got events going on just about every week. Our next set of events is our small group leader hangs. So I'm eagerly awaiting those plans from all of our leaders. So there'll be just a hangout time, but we've got stuff going on just about every week. We've got VBS coming up, and then July we've got stuff going on every week. So that's an easy way to plug in. That's a non-formal, it's a casual way, a way of connecting and just kind of hanging out for a little bit, seeing our kids. But then once school starts and Alive Wednesday nights kicks back up, we've got our Wednesday night service. We've got our Sunday morning Bible study that's happening all summer long. But we started this last year with parents in particular. I'll have a parent liaison or a parent room mom, or however you want to call that. And so we'll have opportunities for our parents to either be a part of service, be a part of dinner, be a part of just connecting in different ways through our ministry, through our live students. I think it's really important that our parents know that we are in partnership with them, that we're not working against them, that we're not a substitute for them, but we are just a resource for them as they train up their child, because we are a small part of their life. We're not there on a Tuesday night doing homework and getting dinner ready and all that stuff, but we want to be available when life hits them and they need advice or they need a resource of some sort. We want to be there as a ministry to be able to do that.
Yeah. So to get in contact with you, Don at OrlandoBaptist.com.
Don at OrlandoBaptist.com. We have a texting service. Honestly, the easiest ways to get in touch with us would be emailing me, Don at OrlandoBaptist.com, or through our Instagram account. That's at Alive Orlando. Those are the two easiest ways to get connected to us. Those are ways, communication mediums that I use a lot. We also have a texting service, but you can get that through the Instagram account.
Very cool. Well, guys, thanks for being here today. Sounds like guys doing incredible stuff through your lives. So that's super wonderful. So, hey, like this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you all in the next one.